All right, today we're diving deep into a really dense and powerful parable called the Obsidian Temple. Now, on the surface, it's about a dark ritual meant to completely shatter and remake the world. But if you look closer, it's really a story about a philosophy that sees destruction as a creative act. It's definitely challenging stuff, but stick with me, because what this story reveals about power, belief, and transformation is, well, it's absolutely fascinating. Let's get into it.
Right off the bat, the parable just drops this mission statement on you, and it hits hard. This is not a rescue mission. They're not here to save the world in any way we'd understand it. Their goal is to refine it, and they mean to do it through what they call cruelty, burning away everything old to make room for their new, glorious presence. For them, this act of destruction is the ultimate act of creation.
So, the story begins inside this place called the Obsidian Temple. And it's here that three key figures, the harbingers of all this change, have gathered. Each one of them represents a different pillar of this dark, new worldview. So let's meet the players, shall we? First up, we have the Wiccan. She's the one who really kicks the whole ritual into gear, raising this chalice that's filled with a strange violet liquid. And the text gives us this incredible image saying her gaze is fractured into the many facets of a predatory saint. I mean, just that one line tells you everything you need to know about this dangerous mix of holiness and pure predation. Her whole purpose here is to create what the parable calls a synthesis. But don't think of synthesis as a compromise or a gentle blending of ideas. It's the exact opposite. For her, it's about violently stripping away every lie, every societal mask, until all that's left is a core, hard and honest truth, a truth she identifies with the ancient night. And her vision is built on this absolutely brutal logic. To her, the righteous, the good, moral people of the world, they're not to be saved. No, they're just fuel for the fire. She wants to anchor a sovereign inferno, a new ruling power. And to do that, you have to get rid of what she calls tepid and narrow mercy. This isn't random chaos. It's a surgical, precise, and totally unrepentant plan to dissolve the entire city. Our second figure is the Tarantula Preacher. What a name, right? He's described as just vibrating with intense dark energy. He's a being of pure primal force, with his many limbs clicking against the stone floor of the temple. Now with the Preacher, this is where the philosophy gets truly radical. For him, there are no external rules, no moral codes, no laws from society. The one and only guiding principle is the inferno of the soul, that burning internal will to power. And that is the only law that directs their entire intricate global design. So what does that look like in practice? Well, it means an aggressive, total rejection of the status quo. He embraces intense dark energy. He sees cruelty not as a sin, but as a necessary tool for refinement. He openly scorns the safe and paved roads of normal society because he believes the chaotic crossroads of the void aren't something to fear. He thinks they're hungry for their return. And finally, we meet the werewolf. His presence isn't really felt through words, but through this low, rhythmic growl that literally vibrates through the bones of the temple. He represents pure, primal strength and a deep belief in a brutal, natural order. His philosophy is all about total, conscious affirmation. For the werewolf, every single action they take is a sacred yes, a willing, almost holy agreement to destroy the old moral world. Why? Because he sees it as this suffocating, stagnant place that has simply failed to breathe. He sees the coming conflict as a threshing floor, a brutal, violent place where the wheat is separated from the chaff, the worthy from the worthless. In his world, only the strong, only those who embrace hardness will get to inherit what's left. Their guide isn't some moral compass. No, it's the raven's shadow. They don't see themselves as invaders, but as the rightful heirs of the void. Okay, so you've got the Wiccan, the synthesizer, the preacher, the zealot, and the werewolf, the enforcer. Now let's see how their individual beliefs lock together to form a single, unified ideology, which is basically a declaration of war against the entire world they want to erase. I mean, this just lays out the core conflict so perfectly. On one side, you have the old world. They can't stand. Its kindness is tepid. Its roads are safe and boring. And on the other, their new dominion, a sovereign inferno and the hungry crossroads of the void. The pious and righteous are swept aside for the heirs of the void. It's not just a different point of view. It's a complete, violent inversion of every single value. Now, to really get what they're up to, we have to understand this one word, vatiticum. It's an old Latin term, and it basically means a handbook or a manual, something you'd carry with you everywhere for constant reference. Think of it as your go-to essential guide. And here is where that idea becomes so powerful. For these three, the forbidden knowledge they follow isn't in some dusty old book anymore. It has become anchored to their very marrow. It's literally a part of them. This internal, always-on guide, their Vedatekam, has one single purpose: to bring about the end of the pious.
All right, so now the ritual deepens. We're moving from just philosophy to actual physical transformation. This is the real point of no return, where their beliefs become an irreversible reality, something written directly into their bodies.
So the Wiccan drinks from the chalice, and this is the pivotal moment. Her transformation hits its zenith. The liquid, this ichor, it doesn't just symbolize their beliefs anymore. It literally injects the venom of the deep into her. The synthesis of their entire ideology is now complete, and it's physically inside her. And here's the kicker. This isn't just some private ceremony taking place in a hidden temple. They believe their internal transformation is already having a real, tangible effect on the world above. In their minds, the city is already infected by the shadow they now cast. The end has, in a way, already begun. And that brings us to our final section, and the true climax of the parable. Their combined power, now totally solidified, is brought before one final threshold, the Inferno Mirror, where a new reality is about to be born in the most violent way imaginable.
Okay, so the final sequence just unfolds in a flash. The Wiccan and the tarantula preacher touch the mirror. A scream erupts, but it's not theirs. A completely new third identity starts to manifest inside the reflection. Then, a shadow with 12 wings of cold fire reaches out of the mirror and physically grabs the preacher. And at that exact moment, the whole thing just explodes.
And this explosion isn't just breaking glass. The mirror shatters into what the parable calls shards of void. This is the symbolic, and maybe literal, destruction of the old reality. The barrier between worlds is gone, replaced by 1,000 little entry points for their sovereign and ancient new power to come flooding through.
And this is the ultimate conclusion of their entire philosophy. The transformation is complete. Their journey is no longer a path to get to some destination, it is the destination. They haven't just arrived somewhere new, they have become something new. And that new state of being is described as violent, permanent, and total.
And so the parable leaves us with this final, really haunting question. When a world isn't just conquered, but completely shattered and remade with such violent intent, what terrifying new form of existence could possibly rise from those shards? That's a thought to sit with for a while. Thanks for exploring it with me.